So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Welcome, start.
barakatuh. We spoke about Astaghfirullah. We spoke about Alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Subhanahu wa ta'ala ilayh. We spoke about Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Today we should talk about Tabarakta wa ta'alayta ya dal jalali wal ikram. Um, so, a good way to think about this is that when you have to understand really the most important thing, the difference between your relationship with everybody else and your relationship with Allah. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing can be compared to Allah. And actually, in that way, when you understand that every other relationship you have has something that's similar to what you have with Allah, but what you have with Allah is perfect. What you have with everybody else is not perfect. Like, for example, Allah loves us, but our parents love us too.
Yeah.
Right? Allah sees us, but I see you too. Right? So there are some things it sounds like we have in common with stuff we have with each other and that Allah has with us.
Yeah.
But there are big differences. There are big differences. So I'll highlight one of those differences to you today. When you disappoint somebody, and even if you apologize to them,
Yeah.
they feel the need sometimes to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
To make you feel bad, not to make you feel at peace. Almost like saying, you made me feel bad, now it's my turn to make you feel bad. You need to know what I felt like.
Yeah.
Right? So even if it's not revenge, at the very least you want to make them feel like they need to be put on the spot. Right? When we say astaghfirullah, we're of course turning to Allah and saying we messed up.
Yeah.
And we're asking you to forgive us, cover it up.
Yeah.
But Allah, in response, not only are we recognizing that after He forgives us and He covers up for us, it's not like He doesn't want us to feel any better. Because right after that, we turn to the same Allah and we say, you're the peace, you're the source of peace, you're the only one that can give me peace.
Yeah.
So now, not only do we turn to Allah because we messed up with Him, we turn to Allah to make us feel better too.
Yeah.
Right? You understand?
Yeah.
We can't do that with a person. You can't go to the same person that you disappointed and then go to them also for making you feel better.
Yeah.
In fact, they'll say, now it's your turn to make me feel better. It'll be the other way around.
Yeah.
Right? So if you made mom upset, you're not going to go to mom and say, hey mom, come on. You're making me sad. No, you made mom sad. So you're going to give mom a hug and make mom feel better. But here we are, we disappoint Allah and we turn to Allah and say, Ya Allah, you're the only one who can give me peace. But on top of that, not only does Allah give us that peace,
Yeah.
He gives us way more than just peace. Now that's where the word tabarakta comes from.
Yeah.
Tabarakta comes from the word baraka. Baraka in Arabic means, it comes from birka. Birka means old times, sometimes they had really stubborn camels.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the camels were like their ride, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes a camel would just sit in the ground, and they're heavy animals, right? You can't even pick it up.
Yeah.
So once it decides to sit down and stuff itself into the sand, it keeps kind of sinking into the sand. And it won't budge no matter what you do. So this is actually the sitting of the camel when it kind of just gets sunk into the sand and it won't move. That's called birka. Okay? And from it we get the word baraka. Baraka also means increase.
Okay.
So what Allah is saying when we say tabarakta to Him, they translate that as how blessed you are. But what it means is how full of barakah you are.
Okay.
And what that means is when something stays and it doesn't budge, then it's one of the meanings of, like, so we say Eid Mubarak,
Yeah.
right? Or something good is Mubarak,
Yeah.
or we're asking Allah for barakah. When Allah gives you something good and it stays,
Yeah.
when He gives you something good and it stays, like you could have something good and it doesn't stay,
Yeah.
right? You could have a cake and it's not going to stay.
Yeah.
You could build an amazing Legos tower
Yeah.
and it won't stay. You could buy an amazing car and it won't stay as good.
Yeah.
So there's stuff you can have good that doesn't stay.
Yeah.
What we're asking Allah is, not only are you the source of peace, you're the only one that gives things that can stay.
Yeah.
No, we can't have anything that can stay ever. And even if it goes away, it can come back and come back again and come back again. And increase means not only does it come back, it comes back more than the last time.
Yeah.
That's who you are. You're someone who has the ability to give good things that stay. And not only do they stay, every time you give them back, they're more than the last time.
Yeah.
This is your power. You're the only one who has the power to put barakah in everything that you do for us.
Yeah.
Meaning increase and staying.
Yeah.
Now this is really, again, to think about the comparison. If somebody helps you
Yeah.
and they go out of their way to help you, then the next day you ask them for help again.
Yeah.
Then they go out of their way to help you again. Then the next day they ask you for help again. And they help you again. The third time, are they a little tired now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Somebody asked you to borrow some money. Then they ask you the next day to borrow money. Then they ask you the next day to borrow money. Then the next day to borrow money. Eventually, what are you going to say?
No.
Can I have a 20 again? No, I don't think I have a 20. Can you take a 10? Okay, 10. The next day, can I have a 20 again? No, I don't have a 10. No, I don't even have a 10, bro. Just enough.
Yeah.
So when you turn back to somebody, instead of giving you more and more and more, they start running out of juice.
Yeah.
And now they're able to give you less and less and less until they're not able to give you at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, even the things they gave you before, they start feeling bad. You remember all that time I helped you, it doesn't count for nothing?
Yeah.
Right? Tabarakta also means Allah doesn't just keep giving. We keep asking, He keeps giving. We keep asking, He keeps giving.
Yeah.
We keep messing up and asking forgiveness, He keeps forgiving. He keeps giving peace. But He doesn't give less peace the next time. He gives what? More the next time. This is Tabarakta. We acknowledge that about Allah, how Allah can never be compared to any creation. And what anybody does for us and what Allah does for us. But when Allah does so much for us, this is the last part. When Allah does so much for us, then we start thinking like, man, I'm so good with Allah. Like He does a lot for me. We're like best friends. You know, Wali is one of Allah's names, a friend.
Yeah.
You know, and we start thinking of Allah like we think of a friend, right?
Yeah.
And the thing with friends is, even when you mess up, you're like, yeah, but he's my best friend.
Yeah.
It's okay, you know? Or you could talk to best friends in a way that you don't talk about other people.
Yeah.
Best friends can mess around with each other, right? And they can cross the line with each other. Everybody is, how could you say that? No, we're friends. We're good like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when Allah does so much for you, some part of you might start thinking, now I can be with Allah like I am with someone who's my best friend. Look at everything He does for me. He must love me a lot, so I can just kind of loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
So after Tabarakta, we have وَتَعَالَيْتَ Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram, which is, and how high you are. Meaning, no matter how much you do for me, you're not just anybody. You're still the highest of the high. I still have to maintain the respect and the humility and the line that a slave should never cross.
Yeah.
So I recognize that, because there's these two opposite things almost that are both with us and Allah. And this is what this dua is teaching us. So this is something you really have to remember in life. On the one hand, no one loves me more than Allah does.
Yeah.
No one will give me more than Allah will give me. No one keeps giving me already. It's not even will give me. No one keeps giving me right now more than Allah gives me.
Yeah.
No one understands me like Allah understands me. No one listens to me like Allah listens to me.
Yeah.
All of those things I just said are about how close I am to Allah,
Yeah.
right? But no one's more powerful than Allah.
Yeah.
No one is more just than Allah. No one's scarier than Allah,
Yeah.
right? No one's mightier than Allah. No one has more authority than Allah. Now when I say powerful, high, authority, scary,
Yeah.
right? Because scary, why? Because those that disobey Him, they should be scared of Him. They should be scared of Him, right? And He's a judge. Nobody's a judge like Allah is a judge. Those things feel like He's way far from us. That doesn't feel like positive feelings. Those feel like scary feelings.
Yeah.
The authority of Allah. And so there's two almost opposite things, and they're both with Allah at the same time. If you keep thinking about how much Allah loves you, then you stop thinking about how He is also an authority,
Yeah.
and He's also your master, and you're also a slave. You better act like a slave.
Yeah.
So you start losing sight of that, and it messes you up. It messes your relationship with Allah up. On the other side, if you think of Allah as too much of an authority, the judge, the one who's scary, the one
Mhm.
who created Judgment Day, the one who's going to question you. Those are all scary things.
Yeah.
When you think about that too much, then you start forgetting about the fact that Allah loves you so much,
Mhm.
forgives you so much,
Yeah.
gives you peace, gives you all of those things,
Mhm.
right? So you have to balance both of those things,
Yeah.
right? And this beautiful positive dua we have, we said all of those beautiful positive things, and we ended, Ya Allah, but still you're the All High. وَتَعَالَيْتَ يَا ذَا الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. And you're the possessor of all the glory and honor. I will
Mhm.
always honor you.
Yeah.
I will always, understand how glorious you are. I will not think of you or speak of you in a way that's not respectful.
Yeah.
So we balance both of those sides together
Mhm.
when we say, Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam, tabarakta wa ta'alayta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. It's pretty amazing that Allah does that for us,
Yeah.
right? Because for a lot of people, it's one or the other. Some people, when they only think about Allah's authority, eventually they don't want to be Muslim anymore. They're like, He's just going to throw me in hell anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
Mhm.
He's just always angry. Everything I do is haram, right? So, you know what? Let me just haram then. I'm just a big ball of haram anyway. Nothing I do is good enough for him. That's because they don't look at the other side of who Allah is.
Mhm.
That side is true,
Yeah.
but the other side is just as true, which is He's loving, caring, forgiving, all of that. And then on the other side, you've got people who say, man, why are you trying to scare me about Allah? You know how loving Allah is?
Mhm.
You're just, you don't get it. Allah is He's the most loving of all. He loves us more than our mothers do.
Mhm.
He cares for me more than anybody else. So I don't know what you're trying to tell me about Allah's authority. You're just being too negative.
Yeah.
And that becomes a reason to disobey Allah.
Mhm.
So one becomes a reason to become distant from Allah, the other becomes a reason to disobey Allah. And this is what Allah does. He says, don't go too far this way, don't go too far this way. Some scholars would describe this as like two wings of a bird.
Mm.
A bird can't fly without
Wings.
both wings.
Yeah.
You just have one wing, it's going to
Mhm.
not take off. And the other one, it can't take off. And we need both wings to be able to have a good understanding of who Allah is. Okay, so grab your stuff, get your minds together. Today's going to be a little bit easier day on exercise when Chris is helping. Alhamdulillah.